because we get to talk about one of his latest projects. So, by way of introduction, um, he is an author and a screenwriter. And his name is Rodney. And I'm very excited again because, like I said, that's my husband. So, we're going to talk a little bit about his project, which is his book project, actually. And so, welcome to the show, first of all.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, let's kind of dive into why we're here. Um, you have a book that you are launching, and the name of the book is entitled Drought Stricken. And so, I'm going to bring that up shortly, but I've already introduced you, but would you go ahead and just talk a little bit about what you do and a little bit more about, maybe your journey in terms of being an author and a screenwriter so that the listeners would know a little bit more.
Okay. Well, again, my name is Rodney Harper, and I guess more than anything, I've been writing most of my life, whether it was poetry or small short stories and things of that nature, which led into screenwriting. And I kind of got into the screenwriting aspect, having done a little bit of acting for a few years. And as an actor, the one thing that you'll eventually learn if you don't is that you're constantly unemployed because you're always looking for the next job. And so my mindset became one that I wanted to stop looking for work and start creating work. And so that kind of led me to the screenwriting aspect of it. And it's just something that I truly enjoyed. I like telling stories. I like getting a positive reaction from people from the stories, and hopefully, something moves them to laugh, something moves them to kind of look at things from a positive perspective. So that's what led me into the screenwriting, and the book was just kind of a normal transition as well. That was just something that I believe God purposed me to write. So trying to be obedient and stay out of the doghouse with God, I sat down and put what he wanted in the book.
So I know that, of course, from us having conversations, that this has been a project that you've been working on for quite some time. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Well, it has been a project a long time in the making. And a part of that was because I was just not willing to sit down and do it. It was just never something that I really wanted to do, but understanding that when God calls you to do something and he places a purpose on your life, you can run as far as you want. You can be as much of a Jonah as you want to be, but eventually you're going to either have to give in or give up. And I was not willing to give up, so I gave in and decided to finally just sit down and listen to what he wanted me to put in this book and get it done.
Awesome. So what was the inspiration behind it?
For me, it was probably the biggest thing was just being obedient. I think we as human beings, we struggle sometimes, a lot of times, with just being obedient to the things that God calls us to do. And that was kind of the struggle for me, and the inspiration was to finally give in and do those things. Because I think what we sometimes miss or don't understand is those things that God calls us to do sometimes are the key to the blessings that lie ahead for us down the road. And if you don't do those things, then you never know what the effect is in the future.
Yeah. And I know your um, mission is to impact, a lot of people in a very, very positive way. But you also have a way of being very truthful in sharing the truth about it. And sometimes that can be a little hard at first. So, and as we, have been talking about the project, with other people and family members and things like that, what can people expect from the book?
Well, I would probably say the warning I must put out there is people tend to gulp down lies and untruths. And when it comes to the truth, they just want to sip it. They don't want big gulps of that. They just want to sip the truth. And that's not always how it should be. So what I try to do with the book is stay with the truth. Some of it is just blunt, hitting you over the head kind of truth, but you can honestly read the book and you won't find the lies, because there are no lies in it. The Word of God is true every day, all day, every day of the week, 365 days of the year, 366 when it's leap year. It doesn't change, it doesn't give, it doesn't bend. And that's what you're going to find in here. I liken it to being a literary mirror to what we're seeing in our society today. How people are behaving, how people are responding to the truth, and how they're, like I said, they're willing to gulp down the lies that are being fed to us as a people from different factions, whether it's political parties or it's corporations or whatever. We're not challenging it. We're not testing any of that stuff that they're giving us. We're just taking it wholeheartedly and running with it. And that's part of where the problem is.
Yeah. What do you want people to walk away with as a result of reading the book?
Well, I want them to walk away with the idea that there is hope, even in the midst of all of this. We talk about and look around us and see some pretty devastating things, whether it's the war that started in Israel, the economic crisis that we see in this country and things of that nature, the racism that is rearing its ugly head, and it's not as if it had hidden its head, but it's really reared its ugly head in this country here. And to know that even with all of that we're fighting against and everything that's coming against us, there is still hope.
Yeah. So why now?
Why not now? Is
Good
the
answer.
better question. When is a good time to do the right thing? When is a good time to tell the truth? When is it a good time to be honest? So, now is the time.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, agree. I'm going to show the audience the book, and we are definitely looking forward to it coming out, and looking forward to, people reading the book and even listening to the audio version of it. And so I guess one of my last questions before we close out the interview would be, so as a part of your legacy, so I've already asked, what you want people to get away, to walk away, when they walk away from reading the book, what is it that you want them to, get from it, and that there is hope. So having said that, what kind of, I guess, legacy do you want this book to have or to create? And maybe I'm not, saying it the right way, but everyone wants to, create a legacy. At least they should anyway. But in creating a legacy, what type of legacy do you want to create by writing this book and authoring this book? What's the legacy here?
I think for me, the biggest thing I would love to see is people become carriers of the truth. That they're motivated to go out and share the truth. Some would say to share the gospel, and let somebody who doesn't know or don't know that there is a truth, that there is a need to share that truth with other people. If you don't share it and I don't share it, who will? Nobody's exclusive, has exclusive rights to sharing the gospel. It's not just the preacher's job to share the gospel. It's every soul-stirred believer's responsibility to share the gospel with the lost.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I want people to get from the book. The legacy that it creates is to want to share that good news with somebody after you've read it, because it is good news. And like I said earlier, even with all of the negativity that's going on around us, there is still hope in the midst of all of this. There is still good news to be shared with those who have never heard it. And if you've read this book and you understand that there is good news in the midst of all this, you got to go and tell somebody.
Yeah.
And that's what we're called to do, is keep telling that good news until every person has heard it. Because the reality is there's going to come a day when there will be no more sharing of the good news.
Yeah.
And we've all got to stand and answer for the things that we've done while we had the opportunity to do them.
Yeah.
And I would just hope that when we're standing before God and we're giving an account of our lives, that we can honestly say we did our best, and God can say, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant. Enter into your rest." That's the goodest good news.
Yeah.
That the hope that most of us will get that kind of good news in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm super excited to be, of course, a part of this. The title of the book, for those who may be listening, maybe you're listening to the podcast and you're not watching the video, the title of the book is Drought Stricken, Navigating the Spiritual Barrenness and its Ripple Effects on Money, on Racism, and Beyond. And so the way you can actually go and purchase the book is by going to the website, which is rodneydharper.com, and you can buy the hard copy of the book, or should I say paperback copy, as well as the audio version of the book, and so you can purchase it there at rodneydharper.com. And so do you have any parting words or anything that you would like to say as we close out?
I think the biggest thing I'd like to share with the listeners is that the clock is ticking on us. And we have no idea how much time is left. So, as the word says, while it is day, I must work. And we just need to keep that in mind, keep that at heart, and just keep doing the work.
Absolutely. So the information, all of the information will be in the show notes, how you can get it. Again, you can go to rodneydharper.com and purchase the book, the paperback book, and the audio. It comes as a bundle, and the price is currently at $27.99, which includes shipping and handling. So that is, I think that that's an amazing uh, bundle, to be able to get at that price. And so, but again, you can get that at rodneydharper.com. All of the information will be in the show notes. And I am very excited to be a part of this launch. And so go out and get the book. So thank you all for listening and viewing the podcast. Thank you for being my guest on my show. It is absolutely a privilege and an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.